Isn't it so frustrating to be able to express yourself in French and not be able to understand what the French say? I know, I've been there myself when I learned English. Alright, let me give you 5 tips that will greatly improve your ability to understand the French. Bonjour, my name is Alexandre de Chambure. I'm the former private English teacher of French President Chirac's daughter. I'm also the former French tutor of Golden Globe Award winner Jessica Chastain and many other Hollywood celebrities. I started learning English in Paris when I was 12 years old, and my goal was to become completely fluent, and I did it. Through this journey, I've learned many principles that apply to the study of foreign languages, and today I'd like to share with you the 5 key elements. Number 1. Statistically, the French use the pronoun nous less than 1% of the time in conversational French. Remember, the French use the pronoun nous less than 1% of the time in conversational French to say oui. Alright, why? Because the pronoun nous is very formal, and this is something you don't learn in schools and in books, and it's a big mistake. It is very formal, so I think any book course that drills you on the use of the pronoun nous day in and day out is wasting your time and money, okay? So the French will most likely not say nous habitons à Paris, but instead they will say on habite à Paris, okay? That's what we always say, on instead of nous. Number 2, when it comes to asking a question, I know that you all learned that there are 3 ways of asking a question in French, including the inversion where you switch the verb and the subject. Alright? Well, keep that in mind. The inversion is extremely formal in French and almost never used, just like the nous, okay? I personally never use nous. I don't really use the inversion either, and very few people ever do, okay? So keep that in mind. The French will just use the subject and verb most of the time, and possibly est-ce que, that's fine too. But the inversion is extremely formal, so most of the time the French will not ask you, parlez-vous français? They will say, vous parlez français? Just naturally, okay? So keep that in mind. The inversion is almost never used in conversational French. It's extremely formal. Number 3, you know that il y a means there is or there are, right? Il y a un chien, there's a dog, il y a un chat, there's a cat. But what most courses don't say is that the French will skip the il altogether most of the time and say ya. Okay, so instead of il y a quelqu'un à la porte pour toi, there's someone at the door for you, the French will say y a quelqu'un à la porte pour toi. Y a quelqu'un à la porte pour toi. They leave out the il altogether. So you just have to expect to hear ya, okay? And that alone will help you a great deal understand a lot of those sentences that you could not understand before. Okay, so ya for il y a. It's informal, it's conversational, it's not rude, that's just the way the French speak, okay? Point number 4. Did you know that nearly 50% of the time the French will use the slang term à la bourre for en retard, meaning late? And don't think it's just street French. Politicians and journalists use it on TV all the time. But my point here is that the French use many different types of speech registers, colloquial and slang, that you don't learn at school or in books, and that you need to know in order to understand the French. And that brings me to point number 5. En retard is repronounced en retard, so that E that doesn't have an accent is skipped. And that's a general pronunciation rule that you never learn in courses or in schools. An E in the middle of a word that doesn't have an accent is going to be skipped in conversational French. That's just the way it is. We don't speak that slowly, so acheter is never going to be pronounced acheter, it's always going to be pronounced acheter. Une chemise, a shirt, is going to be pronounced chemise. Les cheveux are going to be pronounced les cheveux. The verbs demander and regarder are going to be pronounced demander and regarder. That's just the way it is. And those little tips seem small, but they make a world of a difference when you try to understand the French and even sound like them. Now, this is just a snapshot of the principles I teach my students in order to master French. If you'd like to dive deeper and get a full understanding and even start talking like a true native speaker, then I'd like to invite you to watch my free masterclass coming right up. All you have to do to sign up is click the link below this video, and to register you'll have to enter your email address and you'll get a 24-hour pass to watch the whole lesson. Again, this is an absolutely priceless lesson. Many people have told me they learned more during those 45 minutes than in years of college French. So if this is something that interests you, click the button below this video right now and gain instant access. And listen, you've been trying to learn French on your own or at school for many years and feel discouraged, mainly because you feel like you can hardly understand anything. It's time to show the rewards of all your hard work. You might just be missing out on a few small but significant shifts that can change everything for you. So make sure to click that link, watch this training so that you can learn French today.